Two words that can ignite attraction. Have you ever said something incredibly simple that created an immediate emotional reaction in a woman? What if I told you that attraction doesn't always begin with clever lines, impressive stories, or secret techniques? Sometimes, two simple words, when spoken with genuine intention, can create a powerful emotional connection. Welcome, brother, to another episode of Rise of Stoic. Here, we explore female psychology through stoicism, masculine presence, emotional intelligence, and self-mastery. Today, you're not just going to hear advice. You're going to understand why certain words carry emotional weight and how the way you communicate can influence connection. So stay with me. One of the biggest mistakes men make is trying too hard to impress through logic. They talk about their achievements, their money, their plans, their careers, and everything they've accomplished. But attraction isn't built entirely through logic. It's strongly connected to emotion. A woman may notice what you have, but what often matters more is how she feels when she's around you. You can look perfect on paper, but if there is no emotional connection, those qualities may not mean much. That's why sometimes an ordinary man can attract a woman whom others consider incredibly difficult to approach. He doesn't spend all his time trying to convince her. He creates a feeling. And that feeling begins with presence. Before the words, there is the eye contact. Before the sentence, there is the pause. Before emotional connection develops, there is the energy you bring into the interaction. People are often highly sensitive to emotional signals. Insecurity can be noticed. Nervousness can be noticed. Desperation can be noticed. But so can calmness, confidence, direction, and emotional control. And this is where two simple phrases become meaningful. Understand something important: not every word carries the same emotional weight. Some words are spoken and immediately forgotten. Others stay in someone's mind long after the conversation ends. The difference is often not the words themselves. It's the intention behind them. An insecure man may feel the need to explain everything. He talks too much, seeks constant approval, and tries desperately to make the other person like him. A confident man doesn't feel that pressure. He understands that silence can communicate too. When you speak with purpose instead of filling every quiet moment, your words naturally become more meaningful. A calm pause can communicate confidence. Eye contact can communicate presence. And emotional control can make your communication much stronger. Now let's talk about the first phrase. I trust you. At first, those words sound incredibly simple. But imagine looking at a woman calmly and telling her, I trust you. You're not demanding anything from her. You're communicating confidence. An insecure person may constantly question, monitor, or attempt to control everything because they are afraid of losing control. A secure person understands that genuine trust cannot be forced. When you say, I trust you, you're communicating that you don't need to control every situation in order to feel emotionally secure. And that can create a sense of freedom within the relationship. But there is an important condition. Don't say these words simply because you think they will make her more attracted to you. If you don't genuinely trust her, saying I trust you can sound artificial. People can often sense when words don't match behavior. These words become powerful when they reflect who you actually are: calm, secure, and emotionally grounded. Now let's move to the second phrase. I understand. This is not the same as automatically saying, yeah, I understand, while barely listening. Real understanding requires presence. Imagine she is telling you about something that hurt her, something that frustrates her, or something that makes her feel insecure. What do many men immediately do? They try to fix it. They give advice. They offer solutions. They explain what she should do. But sometimes the person sitting in front of you doesn't need an immediate solution. She simply wants to feel heard. When you look at her and genuinely say, I understand, you're communicating that her feelings have been heard rather than dismissed. That is emotional validation. And emotional validation can strengthen connection because people feel safer when they believe they can express themselves without immediately being judged or corrected. Think about it. When someone truly listens to you, doesn't interrupt, doesn't rush to solve your problem, and simply makes you feel understood, doesn't that change the way you experience that person? That's the power of emotional presence. And here's the deeper lesson. Women aren't necessarily drawn to men who constantly try to impress them. Like anyone else, they can appreciate a person who creates a relationship where communication feels comfortable, respectful, and emotionally safe. I trust you. I understand. These simple phrases can communicate maturity, confidence, and presence, but only when they're genuine. And presence is becoming increasingly rare. In a world where people constantly compete for attention, constantly try to prove their value, and constantly seek approval, someone who is calm and comfortable in his own identity can naturally stand out. But remember this. It's not the words alone that create attraction. It's the person behind the words. If you're needy, the phrase may sound empty. If you're pretending to be confident, people may notice the contradiction. If you're saying these things only as a psychological trick, the effect will eventually disappear. But if you're genuinely calm, emotionally secure, attentive, and self-controlled, your words carry a completely different weight. Attraction isn't something you force or win like a trophy. Healthy attraction develops naturally through compatibility, respect, emotional connection, and the way two people feel around each other. So work on your presence. Learn to manage your emotions. Listen more carefully. Speak with intention. And stop trying so hard to prove your worth. When you genuinely say, "I trust you," or "I understand," she won't simply hear the words. She'll experience the attitude behind them. And genuine emotional experiences are often what people remember. If this message resonated with you, comment the word calm below. Because a man who learns to master his emotions doesn't need to beg for attention. He develops the kind of presence that naturally earns respect. I'll see you in the next episode of Rise of Stoic.